Many of you guys probably saw my previous quadcopter review video of the Syma X5C. Well, I decided to step up my quadcopter game and got myself a Mavic Pro, so here is my review. There will be a purchase link for this drone in the description. It'll be an Amazon link. You don't have to buy it there. I just leave it there, so if you guys want more information, you can go there, check it out, or if you want to buy it, you can go ahead and buy it there, I guess. But it's mainly just for information, so if you guys want to know more about this quadcopter, check it out in the description. This video won't be too detailed into the specs. I'm mainly going to talk about the things that impressed me and the things that are important about the drone, but I'm not big into the motor specs and all of that. We're mainly going to get into the camera a bit and also just talking about some of the features that stand out on this drone. First, let's talk about the looks of the drone. It's kind of basic, a nice matte look. It's not super flashy and not super sleek like a Phantom might be, but it is kind of utilitarian and it does what it's supposed to, and it looks pretty good while doing it, but it doesn't look the best while doing it. The drone folds up to be portable. That's one of the main selling features of it. So the arms all fold in, and that makes it easy to just keep in a backpack or something wherever you're going. And the controller also folds up pretty nicely where your phone goes and everything, so it can be fit into a backpack or into your pocket even pretty well. The controller also fits most sizes of hands pretty well. It is kind of a big controller, but people with small hands can use it pretty fine, so it's pretty universal there. With some quadcopter controllers, they're designed for people with big hands, it seems, but this one is fairly universal, it seems. So now let's talk about the camera on this drone. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of read off of my notes because I don't want to get any of the specs wrong about this camera. The camera is mounted on a 3-axis gimbal. It is a 12.35 megapixel 100 to 1600 ISO on pictures and 100 to 1300 ISO for video. It has 8 seconds to 1/8000th second shutter speed. It has a max image size of 4000 by 3000 for pictures, and a max video size of cinematic 4K, which is 4096 by 2160, and it can shoot at 24 frames per second in that aspect ratio. That's not a normal aspect ratio, so I'd recommend taking it down to 1080p or just regular 4K, so you're not at that wider aspect ratio. But if you want to get really cinematic looking shots, you can go ahead and bump it up to that cinematic 4K. It does have H.264 support, so it can shoot MP4s and MOVs with that, and that's kind of nice when you're editing because it's nice and easy to work with. Overall, the camera does look pretty nice, and it's nice that you kind of have manual exposure controls right on the controller. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with the camera, as it's not necessarily a photography drone, but the camera is really nice. So now let's talk about flying. In short, it's crazy easy to learn, and it is very, very stable. It automatically stabilizes itself and flies very well. Now let's get into a little bit of the specs, and I'm sorry, I am going to read off my notes for these specs again. It has a max range of 4.3 miles. It has a max speed of 40 miles per hour in sport mode, a max flight time of 21 minutes of average use. It has GPS and all the bells and whistles to avoid obstacles, so it has sensors on the front and the bottom to avoid obstacles. However, it does not have side or rear sensors, so you're gonna have to watch that yourself and stay away from things when you're flying in any of those directions. The return to home feature works pretty well most of the time. Sometimes it can be about 10 to 15 feet off, which is good enough that you can bring it back and still be able to see it and then land it manually. So it gets an A rating there. It would have gotten an A+ if it could land in the same exact spot every single time, but it does that some of the time, but not all the time. It has some pretty nice flight modes. It has a normal mode for normal flying. It has a tracking mode where you can have it track objects and either stay stationary or actually follow them. And it also has a tripod mode, which is good for camera work because it reduces the sensitivity of the sticks a lot so that you can get nice smooth shots. It also has a gesture mode, which I wish was more fully featured since they just released the Spark, which works almost entirely off of gestures and has a lot of options with that. However, this one will only accept the track gesture and then picture gestures after that. So it is pretty limited, but if you're just wanting it to track you and then take pictures of you, it works pretty well. But if you're needing a more fully featured gesture controlled drone, you're gonna wanna go with the DJI Spark. This drone in the US does have to be registered with the FAA, and you have to get your little certificate of registration from the FAA and carry that in your wallet and also post the number on it. I chose to put it inside of the battery compartment because that is legal. You can put it anywhere where tools are not required to open it. So I put it inside the battery compartment, so just keep that in mind. It's $5 for a 3-year license on the drone, but in America, that's what you're gonna have to do. For other countries, that'll be different, and you'll have to research that yourself. So yeah, if you're in the US, you will have to register it and carry that little card with you. In conclusion, this is a good drone that is portable and will do most tasks with great results. With a bit of practice, anyone can be a Mavic Pro. It is an easy to use aircraft with a nice camera, and I think it is worth the money if you are really wanting to get into drone flying. I would recommend getting a cheaper drone first so that you can practice and know how a quadcopter works before getting this one. But yeah, I would recommend this quadcopter as a nice step up after learning on a basic quad like the Syma X5C. Again, the card's up and at the eye in the top right hand corner if you want to see my review of the Syma X5C, which is a fraction of the cost, although it is a fully manual trimmed drone, so you're going to learn a lot about flying, but overall it's going to help you in the long run if you move up to like a Mavic. The Mavic will seem a lot easier and you'll be able to pilot it a lot better. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and leave a like on it. If you like the content on this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Check out the videos on the end screen, and I will see you guys in the next video.